Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's we're going to be doing a comparison between the new Ford Escape, the new Jeep Compass, and the new Chevy Equinox to see which affordable American crossover is best. Before we get in this video though, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Large Miller Chevy here in Provo, the Ford here in Provo, and the Dodge Ram here in Provo for giving me some time with all three of these vehicles. All three of these are available for sale for the time being, so if you're interested, I'll include a link to all their websites in the description down below. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money, the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Powering the Compass is a turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 24 around town and then 32 on the highway, with power outputs being 200 horsepower and then 221 pound-feet of torque. Powering the Equinox is a turbocharged 1.5-liter 4-cylinder that goes through a 6-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 24 around town and then 30 on the highway, with power outputs being 175 horsepower and then 203 pound-feet of torque. Now, there are several powertrain options available with the Escape. The two most popular are the turbocharged 3-cylinder and then the turbocharged 4-cylinder. This one has the 3-cylinder, which is a turbo 1.5-liter 3-cylinder that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 26 around town and then 32 on the highway, with power outputs being 181 horsepower and then 190 pound-feet of torque. So when it comes to powertrains, the Compass actually has the strongest entry-level powertrain because the turbocharged 2-liter is standard across the lineup, whereas the Escape has the strongest top-of-the-line powertrain because it has powertrain options. If you get the turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder, that's got like mid-200s with the horsepower and almost 300 pound-feet of torque. But let me know which engine you like the most. Now, before we move forward with the comparison, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the Compass, you guys can see it's kind of more of like a boxy upright design. Notice here we actually have these nice LED lights. You've got the fog lights down below. The Jeep logo is red because this is a red edition. And then I like how the grill's all blacked out, but a really cool look overall. And then if we pop over here to the Equinox, things are a little bit more rounded off. You got the split light design here, which is pretty interesting. Turn signal indicator down below. And then we got the RS badge because one has the RS package, so the grill's all blacked out. And so yeah, kind of more of like a sporty rounded off design. And then with the Escape, definitely also a sporty design. And we've got the LED lights here. You can see parking sensors there on the front end. But let me know which front end you think looks best out of the bunch. Coming around the side here, turning wheel setup is 235, 45, 19 in the front and over in the rear as well with the Jeep. You guys can see the wheels are metallic gray, and then look at the fender flares. They're actually body painted. Got the Compass badge, got the red mirror cap as well. And then here's your full side view with the Compass. Again, it's got kind of more of that, it is rounded off at the lines, but again, more of a boxy type look. Now with the Equinox, our tire wheel setup is 235, 50, 19 in the front and over in the rear, also metallic gray with the wheels. So we don't actually have any fender flares, but I love the cuts there in the fender. And then you guys can see with the Equinox badge there on the side. And then obviously this one's stuffed in the middle, so it's kind of harder to see the side view. But the theme of it being a little bit more rounded off continues. Actually, if I pop over here on the Escape side, I think you can see the side a little bit better there. Now with the Escape, our tire wheel setup is 225, 65, 17 in the front and over in the rear. You guys can see silver with the coloration. And then we got these fender flares here. Notice that continues along the side. Got the darker mirror caps. And then with the Escape's side profile, definitely the sportiest out of the bunch with the looks. Now here are the key fobs for all of the vehicles. You'll notice that all of them have remote start, but the Jeep does not have an automated hatch, but the other two do. Now, starting in the cargo area with the Escape, you guys can see you've got a 12-volt here in the back, and it is quite spacious indeed. You can obviously fold down the second row to get even more storage if you need. And then we do have a little spare tire there. And then when you're all done, just press that button. Now with the Equinox, it looks like it is slightly smaller than the Escape with the rear cargo area, but it's really close overall. And then you can see storage underneath here in the back. And then we also have a 12-volt back here. Again, you can fold down the second row and then just press that and that'll lower things down. And then wrapping things up with the Compass, this is pretty interesting. So it obviously goes down further compared to the other two with the storage, and then you can see more storage underneath. But it looks like the horizontal, if that makes sense, the space to the seats, that looks like it's a little bit smaller than the other two. And then like I said, this one's just manual, so bloop. Now when it comes to rear design, you can see again with the Escape, it's sportier with the design. I do love the new taillights on the Escape. I think those are pretty cool. Got the dual exhaust tips there at the bottom. And then with this Equinox, the taillights, those are pretty crazy looking. I will say, I love the badging here. So Equinox and then all-wheel drive and then RS. It almost looks like the RS badge was just like plopped on there. It's kind of funny, but it's very charming. And then with the Jeep, you guys can see taillights. I think these are probably, I don't know, I like the Escape ones, but these ones might be my favorite with the taillights. But anyways, got of course the red badge there. It's interesting, the Compass doesn't have parking sensors, but the other two do. But wrapping things up with the outside, let me know which car you like the most from an aesthetic perspective on the exterior. Now inside of the Escape, legroom back here is pretty solid. Look at the door panel here with the padding down below, pretty cool. Got our window control, pretty normal stuff. Got some vents here in the back, and then you can see the seats here with the inserts there in the center, and then headroom back here is also good. Now inside of the Equinox, you guys can see legroom. It looks like legroom's a little bit bigger, so I guess in the Escape you get more cargo room. In the Equinox you get a little bit more legroom. But look at the door panel here. I really like this. It's pretty cool with all of the trim. And then we got some vents here in the back, some USB action here in the back as well. And then here are the seats, by the way. Really cool how it's perforated with all the stitching and everything. And then headroom back here, also solid. Now here's our legroom in the back of the Compass. It's pretty similar to the other two, frankly. Got the vents here, got some USB action, another little charging port. And then you can see the trim here on the door panel. I think that's pretty cool. I like this too. It's pretty fancy looking. Speaking of fancy looking, look at these seats here. Perforated with a nice stitching and everything. They're pretty solid. And then headroom back here, it's good. Well, let's start up the Escape. And you can see the front door panel is pretty much the same as the rear, so I'm not gonna focus on that too much, but I do wanna focus on the fact we've got blind spot monitoring. And then with the front seats, they're just like the back with the cloth trim. Sorry about my backpack being in the way, by the way. But here is the steering wheel in the Escape. Notice we got controls for the center stack. We've got our cruise control, it's adaptive. You have your lane keep assist as well. And then you can see we've got this full digital gauge cluster here in the center, which is pretty cool. You can scroll through different menus with it, so fancy. And then got a backup camera here. Resolution on it's pretty dang solid. And then you notice this has heated seats, heated steering wheel, dual zone climate. We also have some drive modes that we can go through here with the Escape. Overall response time of the screen is really solid. And then look at the trim here on the dash. I think the overall design, pretty good. It does have that plopped on tablet look though with the infotainment screen, so. And then down below you get engine stop start. You can see here, this is just a shortcut for like stability control basically. Auto stop start, and then notice for the drive mode select, that's just defroster, pretty straightforward. Volume, I like the fact we have an analog control, actual control, right? Got some charging ports. And then shifter here, little dial shifter. Then you guys can see parking brake, auto hold, some cup holder action, and look at the center console. Pretty nice. The storage, and got the glove box. And then this does have a manual mirror dimmer, no sunroof or anything there up top. Well, starting up the Equinox here. And then you guys can see with the door panel again, I got the cool like red trim and everything, all of our window controls. Front one's actually automatic. And then looks like we do have blind spot monitoring with the mirrors. And then here's the front seat with the Equinox. It says RS here on the side, pretty cool. I can see perforated down the center. But here's our steering wheel as well. Got a nice trim all around. Radio controls on the back. We've got adaptive cruise controls. Has lane keep assist just like the Ford. And then gauge cluster is a little bit different, right? So it's mostly analog, but we do have a little screen there in the center to show us different bits of info on the car itself. And if we pop it into reverse, this one actually has a 360 camera system. So that's pretty nifty. Look at that. Yeah, you can see out of like every single angle. And then that's the rest of the infotainment system. It's really easy to use. Response time's great with it as well. Has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Dual zone climate, we got heated seats in this one. We also have a heated steering wheel, I forgot to go over that earlier. So that's all stacking up to be pretty similar. Got all of our charging ports. Shifter here for that 6-speed automatic. We got our all-wheel drive mode, which is pretty cool. Got some cup holders here, and then more storage. And then here's the center console. Got some USBs inside of it. Nice red stitching on top. And then look at the trim here on the dash. And there's your glove box. And then manual mirror dimmer. I guess it's a thing with these cars. And then no sunroof on this one either. And Compass. So you guys can see the front door panel here again with the stitching and everything. This is pretty cool looking. Both windows are automatic. This one's winning on the window game. And then we do have blind spot monitoring. And then you guys can see here at the steering wheel, we've got our adaptive cruise control, just like the other two. Radio controls on the back. And then with the gauge cluster, it's kind of in between, right? It's got more screen than the Equinox, but less screen than the Ford. But you can scroll through different menus, see different bits of info on the car, pretty standard stuff. And then we just have a regular backup camera here with the compass. Dual zone climate with this one, as you can see here. And responsive with the screen's actually pretty solid. That's fun. And then you guys can see we've got heated seats and a heated steering wheel as well with this. Lane departure as another bit of safety tech. So yeah, I'm not sure. I think I like the Chevy's integration with their infotainment system the best, but this one I think it kind of looks sort of fanciest, if that makes sense. And same with this interior. Look at the dash. You got like nice stitching and padding at the top, and also down below, and then look at this trim. This one definitely feels the most upscale at the interior. And same thing with the controls down here, for like the radio and the climate controls. I think you guys can see the little charging areas, what we'll call it. Shifter for that 8-speed automatic transmission. Got your parking brake. Drive mode select here. Then we got 4-wheel drive lock. You can see here with the cup holders. Yeah, all these have like small center consoles. It's kind of funny. Then you can see the stitching there. And then there's your glove box. Big glove box, actually. Does it have a... No, it doesn't. It looks like it's automatic, maybe, with the mirror dimmer. But anyways, no sunroof on this one either. Okay, so Compass Red Edition, $39,480 as equipped with this vehicle. Equinox RS, $37,505 as equipped with this vehicle. And then Ford Escape Active, $34,005 as equipped. So not the best comparison on the planet, because although the Compass and the Equinox are pretty comparable, the Escape is more of like an entry-level package for the Escape. And so it would have been better if I brought a more loaded up one, but this is all we have available for today. Once more Escapes pop in, maybe I'll be able to do another comparison in the future. But anyways, summing things up with the walk-around comparison. First off, I do want to mention I will have a driving comparison as well. So if you're not subscribed already, that's another reason to subscribe, so that you can see that video as soon as I post it, so you can see how these drive versus each other, if that makes sense. But with the walk-around, here's what I'd have to say is, I think Jeep did a really good job with the style on the Compass. It definitely looks the most upscale on the outside and on the inside. When it comes to features for money, the Equinox definitely has the most features per dollar, because you've got all the same safety tech as the other two, plus you have the 360 camera system, plus you have the automated hatch, and so it seems like you get more features with Equinox for the same amount of money. Now with the Escape, this is the one that has like the most performance look, and then also the most performance elements, and again, it does give you a lot of the same tech as the Chevy. Just, you're gonna have to pay, it looks like a little bit more for that. But regardless, let me know which one you like most out of the bunch, whether it's the Compass, the Equinox, or the new Escape, and I'll see you guys in the driving comparison.